Hollywood's golden lights hide some of its darkest shadows. Beneath the designer gowns and million-dollar smiles are secrets so shocking they could rewrite everything you know about fame. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain to reveal the scandals, betrayals, and hidden lives they never wanted you to see. Brace yourself. This is the side of Hollywood they hoped you'd never uncover. Kirk Douglas, born Isur Danielovich in 1916 to Russian Jewish immigrants, rose from humble beginnings to become one of Hollywood's most iconic actors. His career paralleled the evolution of American cinema, with one of his standout achievements being the hiring of blacklisted writer Dalton Trumbo for Spartacus. This decision played a key role in breaking the Hollywood blacklist, showcasing Douglas's dedication to artistic freedom. However, after his death, a different narrative emerged involving long-standing rumors. Allegations surfaced, suggesting that in the 1950s, Douglas was involved in an incident with a teenage Natalie Wood. The unverified story claimed that Douglas harmed the 15-year-old actress, casting a shadow over his legacy. While the truth of these claims remains unconfirmed, the conversation around Douglas's life became divided. Social media became a battleground of contrasting opinions, with some honoring his contributions to film and others questioning his character due to the serious allegations. Spencer Tracy's rise in the film industry coincided with his move to a ranch in Encino, California, as he sought to distance himself from his extramarital affairs and the notorious temptations of Sunset Boulevard. Director Joseph Mankiewicz summed up Tracy's departure from his wife Louise by stating, "He didn't leave Louise, he left the scene of his guilt." Tracy's romantic escapades were no secret, with actresses like Hedy Lamarr, Loretta Young, and Joan Crawford among those rumored to have had affairs with him. In 1940, Tracy's infatuation with Ingrid Bergman led him to threaten to quit a role if Lana Turner was cast instead of Bergman. Despite Bergman being married, their affair was short-lived. His most significant and enduring relationship began in 1941 with Katharine Hepburn during the filming of Woman of the Year. Their 26-year romance remained hidden from the public due to Tracy's status as a devout Catholic married man. Tracy's behavior also caused issues with his co-stars. Irene Dunne, who worked with him in A Guy Named Joe, described him as rude and revealed that his advances made her uncomfortable. Humphrey Bogart, one of Hollywood's Golden Age icons, was famous for playing tough characters in films like The Maltese Falcon and The African Queen, which won him an Academy Award. His most memorable role, however, was as Rick Blaine in Casablanca, 1942, alongside Ingrid Bergman. The film earned 8 Academy Award nominations and won 3, solidifying Bogart's legacy. The production of Casablanca was chaotic, with an unfinished script and constant rewrites. Bogart's personal life mirrored the turmoil on set. He was dealing with a troubled marriage to his third wife, Mayo Methot, and a worsening drinking problem which affected his behavior. He kept his distance from Bergman off camera, often playing chess alone. Despite these challenges, Bogart and Bergman's on-screen chemistry was undeniable. Casablanca overcame its production problems to become one of Hollywood's greatest films, with Bogart's troubled performance reflecting his real-life struggles. What's better than starting the day with a delicious cup of tea and watching this fascinating video together? John Wayne, a legendary figure in Hollywood's golden age, often found himself at odds with his peers due to his conservative political views and outspoken opinions. One notable conflict occurred with Clark Gable, famed for his dashing looks and acting talent. The two actors clashed on the set of John Ford's 1953 film Mogambo, where tensions quickly arose after Ford's remarks about Gable's age and appearance soured the atmosphere. The situation escalated further when Ford extended his harsh treatment to Ava Gardner, Gable's co-star. Angered by the director's disrespect toward Gardner, Gable walked off the set multiple times and ultimately cut ties with Ford for good. Their working relationship was never repaired. In her book John Wayne, My Father, Wayne's daughter, Asa Wayne, explained how this feud deeply affected her father's perception of Gable. Wayne, fiercely loyal to Ford, often called Gable an idiot, despite having no personal grievance with the actor. Steve McQueen's tumultuous marriage to Neely Adams, which spanned the 1950s to the 70s, exposed the dark side of the Hollywood legend. Their relationship was fraught with McQueen's serial womanizing and struggles with various addictions. One night, Adams, aware of her husband's cocaine habit, resisted his attempts to involve her in it. McQueen, however, tried to persuade her, reportedly saying, "I promise you a little coke will make you feel better. No matter what happens, you're still my baby." As the night progressed and McQueen's cocaine use intensified, his paranoia spiraled out of control. He accused Adams of infidelity, to which she teasingly referenced a mysterious Academy Award-winning lover. The situation took a horrifying turn when McQueen, overcome with jealousy and rage, pulled out a gun and pressed it against Adams's temple. In a chilling moment, McQueen issued a terrifying threat, warning her to confess or face the consequences. The incident painted a disturbing picture of the dark reality behind McQueen's public persona. In the late 1950s, the affair between Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher created a massive scandal in Hollywood. Fisher, who had been the best man at Taylor's third wedding to Mike Todd, offered her comfort after Todd's tragic death. However, Fisher was married to Debbie Reynolds, Taylor's close friend, making the affair even more shocking. The fallout dramatically altered the relationships between the four, with Taylor and Reynolds' long-standing friendship at the center of the controversy. The scandal had a devastating impact on Eddie Fisher's career. Contracts were canceled due to morality clauses, and his reputation suffered greatly. Todd Fisher, Eddie's son, later noted that the affair literally ruined his father's career, as Fisher's personal life overshadowed his accomplishments in both singing and acting. Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher's marriage lasted 5 years, but began to deteriorate after just 2. Taylor's highly publicized affair with Richard Burton on the set of Cleopatra led to her divorce from Fisher in 1964. In her 1962 autobiography, The Lonely Life, and the 1987 follow-up This and That, Bette Davis shared sharp critiques and tender reflections about her life and career. Davis's relentless drive for perfection stemmed from her complex relationship with her father, Harlow, a stern Harvard-trained lawyer. A pivotal childhood moment occurred when he told her, "There are millions of stars, and you are not important," sparking a lifelong determination to prove her worth. 2 key figures shaped Davis's career conflicts: Jack Warner, head of Warner Brothers, and her rival, Joan Crawford. Davis famously described Crawford as a vain, vodka-drinking, skilled sexual politician. Their rivalry reached its peak during the filming of Feud, where tensions ran high and Crawford's meticulous attention to appearance only added to the friction. Throughout her tumultuous career, Davis remained unapologetically true to herself. She challenged Hollywood's norms and was determined to keep going, famously stating, "I will not retire while I've still got my legs and my makeup box." Mickey Rooney, with his boyish charm, became a Hollywood icon, earning 4 Academy Award nominations and captivating audiences with his collaborations with Judy Garland and his portrayal of Andy Hardy. His roles epitomized post-war optimism and small-town innocence, making him a beloved figure on screen. However, Rooney's personal life was far more complex, marked by struggles with gambling and substance abuse, which affected his public image. Reports of inappropriate behavior, including unprofessional conduct during auditions, raised concerns about Rooney's off-screen actions. One significant allegation involved an alleged relationship with a young Elizabeth Taylor, which painted a picture quite different from the wholesome characters he portrayed. Rooney's professional demeanor was also known to be abrasive at times, with unkind remarks about co-stars, including Elizabeth Taylor. After co-starring with her in National Velvet in 1944, Rooney reportedly made dismissive comments about her talent. In 1983, Orson Welles showed his irreverence during a chance meeting with Richard Burton. When Burton tried to introduce Elizabeth Taylor, Welles, focused on his lunch, simply replied, "No." Later, Welles explained his bluntness, saying, "I told him to go yourself." Known for his sharp rebukes, Welles often directed his bluntness at powerful figures in the industry, many of whom had control over his career. Welles, the genius behind Citizen Kane, was also notorious for his unconventional career choices, abandoned projects, and clashes with the industry. He even downplayed his own masterpiece, once calling it a dollar book Freud. Despite criticism of his erratic career, Welles remained a beloved conversationalist, known for his wit and biting humor. In his candid conversations, compiled in My Lunches with Orson, Welles offered scathing critiques of actors. He likened Marlon Brando's physique to a huge sausage and expressed his dislike for Bette Davis, criticizing both her acting and appearance. Even Humphrey Bogart was not spared, with Welles calling him a coward who only fought when backed by busboys. If you like this video, please donate me $2. I will reward the staff who made this interesting video. In October 1942, while America was still recovering from the attack on Pearl Harbor and battling across the Pacific, a major Hollywood scandal unfolded involving actor Errol Flynn. The Australian-born star, beloved for his roles in action films, was accused of inappropriate conduct with two young women at a party in Bel Air. Just days later, additional allegations emerged, involving an incident aboard his yacht the previous year. This high-profile case captivated the public, highlighting the stark contrast between wartime sacrifices and the glamorous, scandal-filled lives of Hollywood elites. Flynn, who had risen to fame with his role in Captain Blood, was at the height of his popularity as an action hero. At the time of the trial, Flynn had recently been granted American citizenship and attempted to enlist in the United States Army. However, due to health issues like tuberculosis, he was unable to serve and instead continued portraying war heroes on screen. Charlie Chaplin, famous for his slapstick comedy, had a personal life marked by significant age gaps in his relationships. He married his first wife when she was 16, and he was nearly 30. His second marriage, also controversial, produced two sons. Despite marrying a younger woman for his third marriage, it didn't result in the large family he desired, and his interest waned. At 50, Chaplin married 18-year-old Una O'Neill, with whom he had 8 children. Though his career left an undeniable mark on film, Chaplin's personal life revolved around building a family. Una, nearly 40 years his junior, stayed with him until his death, though she faced struggles after his passing. Chaplin's life was filled with relationships involving younger women, which was a recurring pattern. He fathered his last child at 73, but was likely less involved in parenting by then. His legacy remains a blend of cinematic genius and complex personal relationships. James Dean, the iconic actor immortalized for roles in classics like Rebel Without a Cause, may be celebrated on postage stamps, but a closer look reveals a more tumultuous personality. In Donald Spoto's Rebel: The Life and Legend of James Dean, Dean is described as obnoxious, excessively rude, and unprofessional. His Broadway performances in See the Jaguar and The Immoralist were marked by moodiness and uncooperativeness, with Robert Mann, the press representative for the latter, calling Dean the most uncooperative actor he had ever worked with. Even Rock Hudson, who co-starred with Dean in Giant, found him difficult, describing Dean as sulky and ill-mannered. Despite these tales, Dean's enigmatic persona, marked by rebellion and his tragic death at 24, Dean's complexity went beyond the rebel image. While creative and ambitious, he was also manipulative and selfish. Fellow actors like Von Taylor recalled his disruptive, self-congratulatory behavior, causing chaos on stage and frustrating directors with his improvised movements. William Claude Dukenfield, better known as W.C. Fields, was an iconic comedian, actor, gambler, and card shark. Known for his gin drinking and his dislike of children, Fields developed a cantankerous persona that entertained audiences for decades. Whether hustling in a pool hall or juggling in a circus, Fields' bulbous nose and drawling voice became synonymous with comedy in the early 20th century. While contemporaries like Charlie Chaplin evoked sympathy and Buster Keaton inspired amazement, Fields appealed to the darker side of human nature. He made audiences laugh at their own unspoken desires and meanness, showing them a version of themselves they were reluctant to acknowledge, off-screen. Fields had a reputation for being difficult to work with, often becoming irritable when his work wasn't taken seriously or when obstacles arose. Greta Garbo, the enigmatic Hollywood icon, was renowned not only for her captivating performances, but also for her sometimes cruel demeanor. In one memorable incident, Garbo managed to hurt the feelings of the usually unflappable Marion Davies. During filming, Garbo entered Davies' set and sat in her chair, watching for nearly half an hour. Flattered, Davies decided to return the gesture and visit Garbo's set. However, when Davies approached, Garbo abruptly halted filming, demanding to know who was present. Fred Niblo, the director, instructed Davies to leave, explaining Garbo's strict rule against visitors. Despite Davies' polite explanation, Garbo dismissed her with a cutting remark, claiming she came to see a really great actress and not Davies, bringing the actress to tears. This incident exemplifies Garbo's complex and solitary nature, often bordering on rudeness. While friends defended her as slightly cranky, Davies later remarked at a reception that Garbo was one of the most peculiar and shy people she'd ever met in Hollywood. Page Six recently reported the downfall of 78-year-old silver screen icon Faye Dunaway, who was removed from her role in Tea at 5 due to accusations of physical assault, tantrums, and strange demands. Rutanya Alda, during the filming of Mommy Dearest in 1981, claimed Dunaway slapped her hard instead of performing a stage slap. Broadway wig designer Paul Huntley recounted a 1996 incident during Masterclass where Dunaway slapped his assistant's hand over hairpins. Additionally, Easy Riders, Raging Bulls alleged that Dunaway forced Teamsters to flush her toilet on the Chinatown set and threw urine at Roman Polanski after being denied a bathroom break. James Woods also shared that Dunaway threw something at him while filming The Disappearance of Amy in 1976. He criticized her rudeness, contrasting her behavior with Bette Davis, who reportedly considered Dunaway one of the worst in Hollywood. Lucille Ball, known as the Queen of Comedy, was a dominant force in entertainment, but her strong-willed nature made working with her challenging for some. In a 1971 episode of Here's Lucy, guest star Tony Randall experienced this firsthand. Randall, famous for The Odd Couple, recalled how Ball could be tough, often bossing everyone around without sparing their feelings. Despite these difficulties, Randall recognized that Ball's assertiveness